Tina, we're obviously talking Brexit and Boris Johnson's strategy and so on. Talk to us about how Britain is coping with coronavirus right now and restrictions being placed back upon Britons, and Boris Johnson sort of suddenly becoming this person who's really, really serious about this when he hasn't been for 6 months.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think it's important to put the UK in context to its other European peers, right? The US, of course, has the highest per capita rate of COVID-19 infections. But most other major European countries have got the virus under control. Britain is an outlier in that respect, along with Spain, for example. But what has Germany got that the UK hasn't got? And it's an effective test and tracing regime. That's what's missing. So the government responses at the moment are talking about regional lockdowns, perhaps a return to London lockdown, which fills many of us with despair, much as people were very compliant the first time around, because it starts to feel unnecessary. How have other countries managed to avoid this? Wearing masks, which they still aren't imposing here in the UK, either through legislation or through pure, social mores, and test and trace. It's just not happening, and it's an abject failure on the part of this government.
Johnson has faced rebellion from even his, most ardent Tory fans several times. What's his future, Tina? Does he ride this out? Does he ride Brexit out through the end of the year? And does he actually get deals on all these things? Or does he need to, placate some of his Conservative colleagues with something related to coronavirus restrictions or whatever it may be?
He's in a difficult position because, having suffered from the virus himself and reportedly, still suffering after effects, Boris Johnson is more concerned, arguably, than many Conservative Party members, or the Conservative Party government, which would like to take a libertarian stance, right? And what has emerged instead is a mixed bag of restrictions that nobody, including the Prime Minister, who misspoke, as he put it, about the nature of the restrictions, can make sense of. So you can go to a pub, but you have to leave by 10, but I can't go see a friend in her house. And all of that is about to change at any moment. It is an inconsistent policy, but meanwhile, this government has a majority. However, the Labour opposition, led by Keir Starmer, is actually, for the first time since he slightly in the polling lead.
Yeah, I mean, how big does that lead need to get before he's any kind of a threat, Tina? I mean, Labour hasn't exactly been a threat for a long time now.
Not at all, except that the specter of a Jeremy Corbyn government certainly, gave more political capital to Conservatives than they've got right now. But Keir Starmer has made the sort of strategic decision not to waste his political capital on Brexit, and rather to focus more on COVID, which is probably wise. But the truth is that there's no juncture for Labour to take power. You asked about Boris Johnson's future. Lots of rumors and speculation that he may not want to stay in the job for long. But in that case, we have Michael Gove, very clearly lined up as his successor. And it's important to understand for outside observers that, quote, getting Brexit done is the number one imperative of this government. And the pandemic threw them a massive curveball that they really haven't factored into their strategy as we get to a real pinch point in the next couple of months.